Well guys, things just got really serious on the house here. It's time to get this ceiling down, and on the last video I asked a lot of y'all, or I asked everybody really, for some solutions on this beam right here. If you can see this beam, I hope you can see that behind me there. There's a slight sag over here on this side, and there's a pretty significant sag on this side, and there's a sag in front of the fireplace as well. So I asked for some solutions on that, what to do about that, how to possibly go through this entire span without this post in the middle so I'd have a clear span. Got lots and lots and lots of answers to that, and I really appreciate it. The trouble that I had though is sorting out which answer was the best. So I've actually got a pro coming out hopefully today, sometime this week, and he's going to give me some suggestions and kind of draw up a plan on what I need to do here, because this is not something that I want to mess up on. So I'm getting somebody who actually knows. Not that y'all don't know, I just couldn't sort through all the answers. But anyway, he's going to come out and I will let y'all know what he says. But right now, let's see if we can get this ceiling down. Put drapes up for this project as well, because I'm pretty confident that there is insulation up there, so I tried to block it off from the rest of the house. Lighting may not be so great because this is really my only source of lighting, because we just took that light down, so just bear with me on the poorly lit videos here. Okay, so it turns out he's going to be here in about 45 minutes. I just got a text from him, and here he comes. So I want to make sure I get this ceiling down, or at least most of this ceiling down, so that he can see what's going on up here before he gets here. So I got to work quick. Well guys, my contractor friend visited me. That last footage you saw just now was yesterday, so he visited yesterday and we talked for quite some time about what needed to be done to this ceiling. Let's get a few more of these ceiling panels down so we can see what's going on in this ceiling, and I'll try to explain to you what we're going to do. I know y'all never do stuff like this, but I guess I just wasn't thinking when I put these screws here to hold up my new tarp. This ceiling panel's got to come down right here, and these screws are dead in the way. Yuck. All right, guys, so now that I'm good and itchy and most of that mess is cleaned up, I want to show y'all what we're going to have to do with this room here. A lot of y'all remember it was 2 videos ago where I kind of went over this, but I'll go over it again real briefly just as a reminder. So here's the issue here. This post right here is essentially holding the entire house up. We have this 4x4 post right here, and then we have one 4x4 post right up here. It's actually 2 that's sitting, it's meeting on the top of this post. So we've got this beam right here holding the ceiling up, and right here is sagging pretty bad. I'm not sure how many inches, but it's sagging pretty bad. Over here is sagging just a little bit. The contractor that I had out here called it a belly. He was actually referring to this area right here, but we've got a little belly right there, just a little bit of sag on this side as well. And the challenge was, what we wanted to do is to have a clear span right here so we didn't have this post in the middle of the living room. One of our original plans was to put a 6x6 up there with a cedar tree, kind of a decorative beam or column, I guess you could say, right here in the middle supporting that weight. So we could have run a 6x6 up there, but really what I truly wanted was to have nothing in the middle of the living room. Y'all gave me a lot of really great ideas, and again, it was just so much stuff, and I have so little experience doing something like this. I needed somebody here to look at it and tell me what I needed to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this 4x4 beam out and replace it with a triple 12-inch LVL beam running all the way across the living room. It's going to sit right here, and there's going to be a header up above this door to distribute the weight between each side of this door right here, and I'm going to make that header out of some excess LVL, 12-inch LVL right up there. The weight's going to go down right here through some studs or jack studs or whatever is up in there, whatever I have to add up in there. When you get up under the house, jack the foundation up 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, put cap blocks under there, possibly some wooden shims, just to raise it up just a hair to kind of counteract all of that pressure. I'm going to do the same exact thing here on this side. It's going to be sitting in this wall right here on top of a few jack studs. It's going to come all the way down here, of course, and we're going to do the same thing with the foundation up under there. Now for the really fun part. I got all of this open so I could show you. What was great is that contractor was able to take into consideration the living area up there. You can kind of see where it's boxed in up there, so he was able to take into consideration all that extra weight up there. But what's going on here is we've got joists right here that are true 2x6 joists, and they're just not quite enough for this. So I'm going to take a whole bunch of 2x8s that I'm going to be able to cut on the mill, thank heavens, and sister them onto these, notch it out for the top plate, angle it for the rafters there to meet right there in that corner. Liquid nails, lots and lots of screws. It'll come over here to that LVL beam and meet with a joist hanger I'm not sure what the spacing is going to be exactly yet, but that is the plan for right here on this side, and it's the plan for this side as well, and that should give me a whole lot more strength. Should take the bow out of all of this. Of course, a lot of this will have to be jacked up as well, but that's going to leave me with a lot more strength and no more sagging. So tomorrow morning I'm going to be headed to a lumber yard to pick up those LVL beams. This is going to be an adventure.
Fir and redwood gun. Wow. Bright sunlight.
What'd you say, when are we leaving? Why are we leaving? You want to stay here?
I don't want to stay.
Oh, well, that's good because we're going home. We'll check out those LVL beams just a little bit closer here in a minute, but right now I've got my son. My wife will be home pretty shortly actually, and we're gonna do some other cool stuff, but let's go get the eggs right now. You're too short to get the door, aren't you? Yeah. How many eggs do you think are in there? There's a whole chicken in one of them. No.
Oh, there's more. Pick her up.
Pick her up.
And get those eggs.
No, she's gonna move. You can go get them. Just reach your hand in there. She won't hurt you.
Fly away.
Fly away.
Fly over there.
Just grab them, buddy. You're fine. There you go.
Okay.
How many eggs? 4?
Yeah, 4 eggs today.
Okay, cool. Maybe they'll probably lay some more later.
Yeah, probably.
I've started fermenting feed for the chickens. So basically what I do is I fill these jars up maybe halfway roughly with feed, and then I just put water in it and stir it a little bit and leave it for about 4 days. And oh, my hat. And then I dump it out, and they really love it. It's a pretty good treat for them, and it's supposed to help out their guts too with good bacteria. I don't know. I haven't had any trouble out of hawks since we put this netting up a couple weeks ago. I can't remember when exactly, but yeah, it's been working really good. That should be good.
Okay.
Thank you. So we've had the new chicks now for a week and 2 days, something like that, maybe a week and a day, I'm not sure. They're probably a week and a half old, something like that. And I'm happy to report they're doing really, really good right now. So we'll just see what happens. So here's our beams that we just picked up. That would have been yesterday. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 3 of these together, and I'll give you all a closer look at these in just a minute. We're gonna put 3 of these together, spanning the entire length of that living room, stuck into saddles in the walls with jack studs and a header over the door going all the way down, jack up the foundation a little bit and run cap blocks or something down to the ground so that we can make sure we get all that weight transferred straight to the ground and not on the sills or the joists. So that's what we're gonna end up doing. Originally, the contractor suggested that we use double 2x16 beams, but that would have put these things down into the living room farther than we wanted. That would have brought it down like 6 inches into the living room, 5-6 inches into the living room. We didn't want that, so he said we could get the same effect with 3 12-inch beams, so that's what we did. Let's get a closer look at these things. These are the 12-inch LVL beams, and I know that most of y'all are probably familiar with these, a lot more so than I am, but basically it's just, it appears to be just pieces of of plywood, very thin pieces of plywood glued together under what I understand to be very, very high pressure. Even where they meet here on the ends of these pieces of plywood, they're woven together, it seems like. This piece goes over, this piece goes under, and they're just kind of sandwiched almost right there. These are, I believe, 1 3/4 inches wide, 1 3/4, well, thick rather, 1 3/4 thick by 11 and about 11 13/16 wide right there. These come in 48-foot length, so what they did for me was they took one 48-foot section and they cut it in half for me, because obviously I don't have a trailer that long, and it even still hangs off a little bit on the end of the trailer down there. Then they had a 28-foot piece and they cut it down to 20 and then to 8. So I've got two 24-foot pieces, one 20 and one 8, and I'll be able to make the header for over the door with this one right here, this 8-foot piece. I don't usually talk about prices of things on the channel because what's the point, but I thought y'all might be kind of interested to know the cost of these beams. It was $703 before taxes, so that's $700 worth of beams right there, and that seems like a ton of money for just those 4 boards basically, but it's that I can't make that on the sawmill, and that's going to be a permanent fix that I'm not ever going to have to worry about for the house. So in the long run, that's a pretty cheap investment, I think. So that takes care of the most difficult part of the ceiling, but we still need some ceiling joists or floor joists, or I guess it depends on where you're standing in the house exactly, but we need something to put in the ceiling as well, some 2x8. So let's run out to my lumber yard and see what we can find out there.